Oh, does that go?
Not yet.
All right.
Still dialing up.
Take some time to type.
Morning.
All right. Just checking. Ready when you are.
Ready here. Joe, do you want host back?
No, it's fine. We keep it.
Already.
Even though I've got fantastic mobile internet here.
Stop bragging.
We're all set. We're all set on this end. We're live now. The live stream is running.
Good morning and welcome to the After Hours show. My name is Joe in Seoul, South Korea. Coming to you live from a sleepy neighborhood in Seoul, Korea. I'm joined by Ann Lee, a retired college professor and community member at the Daily Coast. Good evening, Ann. How's it going?
Hey there, Joe. Early in the morning for you.
Hey.
Looks like there's a crowd in front of the restaurant.
They're packing them in. I looks like I won't have to stand in a queue any longer. Yes,
Excellent.
we're across from Grandpa's Fresh Tofu, a tofu restaurant that I thought we might sample their fresh tofu. It's a very simple menu. We can order 2 types of tofu, firm and soft. I believe we'll be ordering the soft if I can remember how to pronounce it. Anybody remember? Boudlon tofu?
Boogaloo
Hope
tofu.
we got it.
Like Boogaloo Boys.
We'll be passing up the baby octopus tentacles since we like to keep it 100% vegetarian.
Yow.
Or vegan if you choose to look at it that way.
I assume they use octopi for in Star Trek. Gah. Or maybe they don't.
So I asked them if it was okay for me to film in here, and they said it would be all right.
Excellent.
Hopefully. One. Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Well, not do that.
Yes.
Okay, we got to figure out how to set up the camera here. And I just have one microphone. So now we got the bunchans.
Oh, I'm hungry again, damn it.
Let me get my better.
Restaurant food. Mm.
Oh, they're packing them in today. Very busy. Quite popular. They
Yum.
open at 6. They open at 6 in the morning, and the tofu is made fresh every day. So we got a bowl of rice and of course the default. This is long fermented kimchi. This is daikon kimchi. This is probably I'm not sure what kind of vegetable that is. It's green on the outside. Not sure. It's a chili paste, fermented chili paste. I haven't seen this one. Yeah. And some fresh chili.
Joe, forgive me, but I can't see any ingredients that might have one time had a face. What's going on here?
Darn. The mysterious
And
east.
usually the drawers will have
Chicken.
Oh yeah,
oh my
look
god,
at
there's
that.
gonna be
Look
way
at
too much
that
food somewhere.
block.
Yes,
Look at
we got
that
fresh
block.
tofu.
Fresh steaming
Right.
firm tofu.
So that's warm right now.
Do I need the raise?
I mean, it just does not look appealing at all, apart from the vegetables, which is ironic.
Oh man,
Okay.
God, am I hungry? Jesus.
Okay. Okay. You too. Okay. Okay. Oh,
Nice.
okay.
That is a spread.
Oh.
Yum.
Yes, 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 yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh,
I think I'd be fine without the
I
tofu,
was
though.
just instructed on how to eat the different ones with the different combination, and I don't believe I'm going to remember how. But this is soft tofu. Wow, it's like it looks like a ricotta cheese.
Right. That's that sort of very watery, isn't it?
Mm. Oh, it's so
Yum.
delicate. Wow.
Yum. Yum.
You're saying yum about tofu? How does that happen? I've tried. I want to be a vegan. I can't.
This is just plain tofu, Lane. It's
Wow.
fantastic.
I've tried it. It's like, oh God.
I'm gonna
Idiot.
try this.
So
Oh,
even though
God,
even though I'm the carnivore, if I was there and I was eating, I would just leave the tofu, but I'd love all the rest of the stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yum.
goodness.
Chili,
This
fresh chilies
salmon
and
john.
tomatoes.
It might be salmon john.
Mm.
Which salmon john is like the sweetened version of the miso paste with mixed with chili.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta try the firm tofu, see how this tastes.
What's our restaurant called?
That's nice. Excuse me?
What's the restaurant called?
It's Grandpa's Fresh Tofu.
So you weren't being derogatory. It was actually that's what it's called. Brilliant. That's cool. I'd eat there.
And this is pickled daikon,
Mm.
which a little bit soft on the outside, but still crunchy on the inside. And in Korea, they'll usually bring a number of pickled dishes called banchan to your table. So we tend to order one meal between 2 people. I'll share it because there's too many side dishes.
Mm.
Nice portions.
There's usually 2 types of kimchi. The nap and cabbage. This is a long fermented one. Otherwise, if it was much brighter red, you'd see it'd be fresh like that day.
I think we need a soundboard with Anne just going, nice portions on it. Press
Oh my
it.
goodness.
Opportune moments.
Yum.
Nice portion.
Yum.
Yum.
We'd say from
Okay.
Canada, it would be some nice portions there.
A.
Okay. So I'm going to finish up well, I'm not going to finish up all of this. I'm going to take some home with me, I assume. I'll finish up eating, Anne, and then it's all yours for now, and then I'll catch you in a little bit. Well,
Okay.
I thought we might hit the trail and try to hike up a mountain ridge to get a view of the city of Seoul.
Okie doke.
I can. Should I go
coming out
on?
here,
You
Joe.
can mute me if you need to.
But then we got to hear the chewing sounds and others, other stuff. It's been a busy week. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, goodness.
It
Well,
is just crazy crap has gone. We're still trying to get a Salvadoran citizen who came to the United States, married a U.S. citizen, and got swept up for X number of reasons, accused of being a member of MS-13, and then got sent in the initial batch of prisoners to El Salvador to a prison in a contract that El Salvador seems to have at about $6 million with the U.S. for holding such detainees, prisoners, for a year. So it's a contractual condition in some ways, and of course the White House is delaying and of course lawfare is going on. The judges have weighed in on the side of people because there was no due process, etc. And the Supreme Court seems to have supported this notion. Of course, trying to isolate it, not so much as a trying to protect the initial action of the federal government in grabbing people off the street and in their homes, and even if they're married to Americans, and with no due process, and creating quite a spectacle using military planes as opposed to the normal chartered aircraft, commercial aircraft, to take people to El Salvador, where um, a portion of these people are perhaps members of some gangs of the more specifically Venezuelan gangs, of which no one ever heard of before, or at least a significant mainstream media talked about them not at all. But this is a front end, as one might surmise, to perhaps at some bright and shining moment in the future to try some sort of military incursion on Venezuela, perhaps. We'll see. Well, during the first Trump administration, there was an attempt to overthrow the Venezuelan government and install Juan Guaido, who is still tan, rested, ready to go. I think hanging out in Miami or something. But needless to say, puppetry is at work. So anyway, that's kind of what's
ready
happening.
and rested.
I'm sorry, James.
Glad he's ready and rested.
I think he's lost a little bit of power. So who knows what that kind of idea is. So that's been happening, and of course there are the usual threat of distractions, an executive order to improve or take away regulations on water pressure on, I think, shower devices. It's almost as specific as that. It's not so much that they care about toilets or faucets, but showers. And so you can just imagine the absurdity of that little kind of thing that was always a talking point in a Trump speech, or not always, but occasionally a talking point about water pressure in showers. And perhaps and he didn't want to necessarily talk about toilets, but what he really meant was toilets, because some people in the first term accused Trump of taking the notes that he made, personal notes or whatever, post-it notes or whatever, and that he had a habit, as described in some biographies, of tearing up these notes, They could be small sheets of small bits of paper, but also full size 8.5 by 11 pages. And he would tear them up into little pieces and flush them down the toilet. I think, he unlike his chief of staff, who would burn them and burn his personal notes in the fireplace. Clearly, something was going on, and some people claim that his toilets were getting clogged. His personal toilets in the residence in the White House were getting clogged with torn up paper, and of course, this is where the water pressure and toilet flushing, because he wanted to frame it as an attack on a low volume toilets, which have been put in. Darn those woke people, those low low capacity flush toilets to reduce water consumption. Now, all of that as a front end to the executive order today or yesterday, he posted on Truth Social that the water crisis is much broader than this, and in fact, there's a way to blame Mexico for it. So apparently, there is a water dispute, or there are water disputes, a treaty that was written in 1941 or 44 between Mexico and the United States. This is during the World War, and this was about supplying adequate water supplies for both sides of the border. And this is sort of a trade treaty, ostensibly about water rights, riparian rights, etc., about responsibilities to try and equalize, create an equilibrium for the situation of water supply at the Mexico-Texas border. And so this has had a variety of problems of interpretation. And then you can imagine during drought periods, there is a kind of inequity that occurs. And so more recently, the inequity falls on the Mexicans. And it has something to do with a kind of stated, a kind of level of balance between water. The Rio Grande River, which serves as a border, et cetera. There are dams on the Mexican side, et cetera. So apparently there's a shortfall on the Mexican side because there's a larger southern drought situation that has occurred across the drought recognizes no borders, and so Trump has taken it on to defend Texas's water rights in Mexico, and doubtless this will be framed accordingly relative to any potential military strike on Mexican cartels. You can see how the framing is going. It's really a little annoying, but it's there. And trying to fold it into other discourse, like with normal domestic water use and toilets. Now, note, of course, that this is also framed in other water applications, and that's sort of sitting in the back, and it'll probably pop out in his speech about how he brought water back to California during the wildfires, which was totally bogus. A stunt where water was released from some dams in the north of California, but that water essentially used up the water that was being saved for agribusiness. It was just useless. It was a stunt. But Trump's claim is that he released the water for the fighting of the Southern California wildfires, and I think, unfortunately, some people only remember that portion of the message. So that's going to happen. Excuse. Anyway, so you can see that,
oh my goodness, man.
On. You eat quickly, Joe.
I asked if we could get it to take away because that was way too much for this early in the morning. So I'm all finished. So I think we'll hit the trail here soon. That was fabulous. This some gun was
Oh,
so
they wrap
tasty.
it for you?
Nice.
You're going to take
Yeah,
with? You're gonna...
she did it too. Normally you do it yourself, but she did it for me since I don't know what I'm doing. That was kind. So I've got that
Darn
little care
tourists.
package here. Little care package. I'll just pay up and go.
Come on, Joe.
One
Protestant
more,
Clean
one more
Plate
bite.
Club. Clean Plate Club.
Oh, I usually am, but they brought an order for 4, I think.
Well, you're an American. Americans have that obesity thing going on. You don't want to disappoint anyone's stereotypes.
You better leave that fucking plate clean, soldier.
Yep. Yeah.
Come on, Joe. There's starving children in America.
Oh, I heard about that now. You give your card, and your money with two hands.
Sodesne. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's something. I forget what delicious is. Oh my God, this is gonna. I think I've got an extra 2.5, 3 kilos. So hike up
Indeed.
the mountain. I hope the wild boar are not going to be tempted.
I'm sure you'll be able to outrun the wild boar there, Joe. So I assume they hunt wild
Be
boar up
sure
there, right?
always to obey. Oh, indeed. Maybe not in Seoul. Remember, never break the law. No jaywalking here, especially if you're a tourist. You're going to be made an example of.
Indeed.
Spend an inordinate. I spent an inordinate amount of time waiting at so many empty crosswalks. Kind of maddening, have to admit. And everybody does it. So, again, how anyone would think that you
Well-disciplined
need to
culture.
implement martial law when people stand in empty crosswalks with no one else around, no traffic, waiting. Beyond me.
Well, in a surveillance culture,
There are others.
they'd have pictures of you breaking the law, right?
Yeah.
They could have, Judge Dredd kind of laws, where the automatic weapons, start firing or whatever.
Yeah. Robot dogs.
Robot
Believe me,
dogs,
take
yes.
the right here.
Stomping at your knackers.
You will.
I want some kimchi with my robot dog, please.
I can reassure everybody, Big Brother will not be far away on our wilderness hike today.
Well, I'm glad you say you've planned it with the usual rigor. Like taking food to where there are boar. Look, there's a sort of stereotype associated with boars, Joe. They like food.
Mm.
They're going to hunt you down. You can't
They're
outrun a boar.
omnivores, needless to say.
You can't outrun a boar.
Wow.
It'll have your leg.
Hopefully some warm, steaming, soft tofu will distract them long enough for me to run away,
Yum.
run away.
Actually, might repel them.
Okay, now I can switch to 2 headsets. There we go.
Imagine if you
This
actually discovered that on this trail.
I am
You know what I
still
mean?
amazed by the urban density there. It's quite close. Quite close.
It's incredible. This is pretty spacious, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you have quite dramatic changes in the density, depending on the age of the neighborhoods and geography, of course. But a lot of this is a average neighborhood. I don't know what the percentage of high rise to this density is. It seems like half and half, really. When you look out, you'll see it shortly. You'll see endless skyscrapers next to it.
Ooh, nice trees.
Oh my God, that was too much food. We're arriving at the trailhead and Buddhist temple. This is an
Take it
example
easy
of,
there, Joe. You don't want to get a cramp.
be quiet. This is an example of traditional Korean architecture. It's a wooden structure.
I think given the steps he's going up, he's more likely to just start farting. So that'll make great viewing. All that food and walking uphill and using steps. Yeah, it's got to be farts. Can't wait for this. That'll get the ratings up, Joe. Nothing
Oh,
people like more than
am I co-host? I don't think I can zoom in so you can see the
Oh,
detail.
here, let me.
But yeah,
Your co-host now.
okay. Let's see if that works.
Jesus, that's gorgeous.
No.
Or do you
Yeah,
want?
Phenomenal.
You can have hosts.
Am
Joe.
I? No.
Your host now, Joe.
Okay. So why can't I swap? Well, let me swap images in the Zoom. Not sure. Well, I hope you can see
No,
enough.
it has nice detail, interesting detail, in fact.
Amazing.
So they age it for a number of years before they paint it, so the wood dries out a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me give you. Okay, you're host again.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can see very well, but on the end of the roof tile, it typically will have a lotus shape. The flower was brought. It's part of Buddhist culture, but when you see the roof tiles and lotus on the end, that's was brought during the time of Buddhism arriving into Korea. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Hey, Joe, did you ever wonder why the corners of the roof curl up?
I wonder, I do not know why. I assume it has to do with the bowing of the wood and the heavy rains.
Well, it provides a place you can enter and exit the roof without getting rain down the back of your neck.
There we go.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Very thoughtful. Don't see it much here.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Buddha, please protect me from the wild boars. I'd appreciate any help and guidance you provide. We could see just a little bit of the cityscape out here. So, not exactly wilderness, although they describe it as such. This is our trail plan. It's quite. We're on the east side of Seoul, on the north side of the Han River as it curves around, and we're going to be hiking up to about here. Or no, we're here up to about there, and should get a good view of we'll get to the mountain range and we'll see pretty much a 360-degree view of the city. They're quite meticulous about safety. There's fire extinguishers. There's all manner of safety equipment. This is the stream that's protected from erosion. The oak trees, I wish Nancy was still with us.
Hmm.
She might be able to help me. Maybe someone else knows why they're wrapping oak trees with essentially a kind of fly paper.
Oh, to keep
Prevent
bugs
some
from climbing up.
mold.
Bugs.
Yeah, but are they at risk of? Is there some disease hitting specifically oak trees?
I don't know.
It's only on the larger tree.
Already quite a crowd there on the trail.
Quite busy. You can see the cherry blossom petals sticking to the fly paper. First, I thought it might have been an art project. So here's our first reassurance that we're in safe hands and we don't need to worry. I don't know if you noticed the camera. It followed the couple.
Oh my.
If you wave, there we go.
Wave to the cameras.
And
tell them hello.
And just before I let you continue on with the meaning of the world, the relentless stream of madness. Let's see. We're going to go this way. There's quite informative trail maps of varying levels of zoom. So you don't get down. Although with stairs, the stairs should end there shortly. This might be curious. We don't have this feature in at our trailhead in Norway.
That's for
Everybody got a
recharging.
good view of this contraption.
What is it for? Is it a recharger of some kind? For electric bikes or something? Oh, cool.
Before you get into the city, you can blow off all of the dirt.
All right.
The dust hill. This one doesn't state. Another one that I saw said, don't blow on your pets, your bicycles, or into your mouths.
Yeah.
There we go. Almost off piste. I'm sticking to the trail lane. No worries. I mean,
good man, good man, good man.
Can I really go off piste with this ominous situation?
We don't want you hurting yourself, Joe. Well, not unless it's streamed
Emergency bell in case you need it. Never fear,
bell,
Big
don't
Brother
just
is
throw
never
on
far
trees,
away.
you know. Sorry.
So I hear there's been some pump and dumping going on
Good.
last week.
Well, it's just the people made a fair amount of money. Trump bragged about it. Charles Schwab himself, I guess, was in the Oval Office, and Trump was saying, "Well, you made $2 billion the other day." No one else seemed to have made $2 billion, but seems only a certain class of folks made money, and which has been a point of interest for Democrats to sort of say, there was certainly a signaling about that this activity was going to go on, the raise in tariffs and certain other relationships that have
Yet another
certain other.
comparison. Yet another comparison
Let's
with Brexit.
indeed.
Very like Brexit. That was the same thing.
What we're looking at here is
Firefighting equipment.
firefighting equipment, and just a reminder from the CCTV cameras. My mobile phone, I have a Korean SIM in there. I received, last time I went hiking, I received no less than 8 warning messages instructing me, beseeching me to please don't burn down the forest. So over a 5.5 hour hike, I received 8 messages telling me not to be responsible. And it was
What
worded a
website
little
have
bit
you been
more
on?
nice. This is just from the state sending out dire warning messages about how easily forest fires can
Oh, so they weren't aimed at you
happen.
specifically, Joe.
Well, it was aimed specifically at my mobile device.
Has it
They
been
thought
very
you were a
dry
threat.
there?
The wood. What's
So
going on?
they know that I'm in the forest.
Just anyone in the forest gets those texts.
Apparently,
Jesus Christ.
first I thought it was
Has,
this is just a regular warning message, but then kept happening. And then they stopped when I left.
GPS driven. Darn that geolocation
So
stuff.
Lane, I'm just gonna stick to the straight and narrow. Well, maybe a little curving in there.
You've
No
been
off
trained.
piste.
Trained.
Boars or no boars?
Thing is, now I
has
want
it
you to go off piste. What's all that about? Now I do want you to go off piste. That's not the English sense. Piste,
Peace.
not pissed. Yes. Defy them, Joe. The swines. You're English, or you're not. Well,
No. I tried to learn English. 3.5
Yeah.
years. Utter failure.
Yes, it is. Nobody knows.
I'll adopt the spelling. Appreciate the spelling.
Looks like a fair number of people trek through there.
Yeah, man.
Indeed. It's well traffic. So portions of it are like this. And then a lot of it is stairways. And eventually I'll show you a mechanism they use to avoid erosion. It's quite interesting.
Oh, I looked up the oak wrapping. It might be just a winter wrap, Joe.
Ah,
They wrap them for the winter, apparently. They be sacred, they be. So they wrap them. But they do wrap them for other reasons. I'm just thinking the time of year. Might be just because of the winter. Winter's coming to an end.
Perhaps protect them from the snow.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
the mighty oak. Have you ever sat with an oak and
this
thought
is a
it's a nice thing
dead
to do?
body.
That's a dead body. Nice. Fresh?
yeah.
You get another text saying, "Do not kill people in the forest." Oh, God.
Doesn't seem to have much fauna up there.
Hmm.
Squirrels or something. Birds even.
Oh, oh, there's lots of birds. I don't know
Oh,
if you, ravens, crows, a blackbird with a white and blue tip tail, which I can't remember the name of in English. There could be snakes, another dead body. Well, we'll have some, just patience. We'll have some more warning signs coming up shortly, I believe.
That's actually height-wise. Height-wise, I would say that's my perfect forest. Nice short little trees. Love them.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Yes.
The smell of the sap.
Do you feel like a little bit of a pixie because you're in a little tiny little forest? Yes.
Slim
Must be.
pixie, thin and forlorn. I
Oh
count
dear.
right and wrong. Oh Lord.
Lordy be. If you go down to the woods today, it will have a big surprise.
So dotted between the pines are, shoot, I forgot the name in English again of these little purple flowers. Of cherry blossoms. Hyacinth? No. You want to know what these are?
Could they be bougainvillea? No.
No,
Hmm.
these are the leaves.
more missing Nancy.
Nancy. When we arrived a little over a week ago from Bangkok, 39 degrees C to -1, I had no clothes, warm enough. Now, a week later, I have 3 layers on now, but I'm sweating buckets at the moment. I think I need to take off one of them. And no
Yeah.
warm hat. Glad to have weather change. Something a little bit more reasonable. Oh, we got a little bit of a view. Getting closer.
There we go.
Oh, and we got the Tower of Babel out there. I don't know if you can see it in the distance. The 4th largest freestanding structure in the world. Lotte Tower, I believe it's called.
Wow.
It's similar to Burj Khalifa in Dubai. This is littered with bodies, right?
Yeah.
So the tariffs are on pause for some countries, I hear. Is that correct? So just a word of warning to any American listeners who might want to make your electronic purchases fairly soon.
Indeed. No one's going to be able to afford a iPhone.
Yeah. Oh, coffee.
For those security-minded of you, 404 Media Podcast had an interview with one of the owners, leaders of Librum, or Purism, I guess that's the company. They make a free Libre phone, a couple different phones, and laptops and servers. Small server, if you want, small desktop, mini PC, I guess I call them.
Yeah.
And they were explaining the ideology and the open source ethos, and they discussed the implications of the tariffs on trying to make, manufacture, build, assemble a free open source, secure computing device.
Cool.
I bought one of their laptops years ago, so if anybody is interested, you can get in contact with me later about any questions you might have. But 404 Media had a pretty cool overview. All right, I gotta take off. Close here.
Goodbye.
So you're gonna catch up with us later, Lane?
I
Are
thought
you
you said
heading for the Northern Lights?
Oh, I'm
Oh,
God.
no.
I
I'm
don't know
taking
what
off some
time.
clothes off camera.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
I was in a t-shirt, just a t-shirt yesterday. Blew my mind.
Are you doing that thing that Billy Connolly used to do?
What's that?
Which
Well, Billy
is
Connolly used to do a TV show where it was called Billy Connolly's World Tour of, and it would be a different country each time. But everywhere he went, he did at least one scene completely naked.
there we go.
I thought you might be
Well,
joking.
if I suppose if there's, well, we don't have a Patreon, so if there's enough interest, I suppose I could.
I'd pay you not to do it.
Although it's quite frowned upon here to show your shoulders.
Or you'll get a text.
Very tight mini skirt, and go-go boots are fine,
Could
but
you not
no
show
shoulders.
your shoulders in the forest, please? Not in the fucking forest. Computer says no.
One thing we haven't done is cycle around Seoul. There's a number of electric and non-electric bikes.
You're muffled slightly, Joe. Joe?
It's not.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, am I?
Yes, okay
Am
now.
I back? There we go.
Yeah.
Cycling, I would assume would give me anxiety, like crossing the street, standing there waiting to not jaywalk, because it is so difficult to discern what is a legal cycling area and not.
Wow. There we
Observation
go.
with here.
Nice. So you're facing west?
I'm facing due south.
Due south. Okay.
And this is the Han River that snakes through the center of Seoul. This way over there is the actual center, if you could call that a center, because kind of like Los Angeles. There's
Yeah.
a center, there's a center, there's a center, there's a center, there's a center. There's a whole bunch of centers. There's
Yeah. LA has
one stretch of
33 centers.
the famed Gangnam is over there, south of the river. The K-pop, is it considered K-pop?
Gangnam.
Psy, take a piss take of the rich folk down south the river there. And then these just massive apartment complexes as far as the eye can see. And once we get up to further up the ridge, you'll see they just keep going and going and going. And this is that Lotte Tower of Babel looking thing.
That's quite the view.
So it's quite quick from the bus to here. It takes about 15-20 minute walk. Major metro station, so like 15-20 minute walk. And actually, you can catch a bus further into the neighborhoods, but I like to walk through the neighborhoods. There's a number of markets in all of these neighborhoods.
Nice.
It is vast. So there's 11.7 million people in metro city proper,
Jesus.
and 27 million in the metropolitan region. And it kind of dwarfs London due to the density.
God, it dwarfs
Yeah.
Britain.
Well, it's okay. All right, you're right. It's about a third of Britain to be, but I mean, London's got about a third of Britain, doesn't it? Quarter,
Well,
maybe.
nah, I wouldn't say that much.
22 million in the
Well,
greater metro
connotation, yeah.
area. Hmm.
They're being spread to the four corners, though. It's all empty properties now.
It's all connected with the incredible metro system. It's once you figure it out, it's great. Although there's limited English. Like I mentioned the other day, it took us 5 hours to fly from Bangkok to Seoul and 5.5 hours to figure out our way to our hotel. Now I've got it. Now I got it sorted, but it still takes a while. Much prefer biking. These are little vast distances to cover.
We're 5 minutes from the top of the hour. We should
I
probably
believe
talk a
you've got
little
a
bit.
rant or two.
Well, I pretty much did my little rant about taking people out of the country and somehow an executive order about water pressure in your shower seems not a national problem.
Mhm.
The
And I
quick
believe I saw you posted something about that young Nazi fellow, Jewish Nazi.
what? Oh, Stephen
What's his
Miller.
name? Miller. Yes. What was
Stephen
that
Miller.
about?
No, it's part of the same thing. He's
Okay.
blaming the judge, who's actually of Greek heritage and appointed by Obama, as he's calling her a Marxist. I don't think she learned any of that at the University of Virginia or at Yale. But anyway, so yeah, there was that. It's just all distractions. A lot of distraction. I mean, the water pressure and
Illusion.
showers is a clear distraction. On the Ukraine front, same stuff. There's just a lot of drones in the air, and apparently they interviewed a U.S. general who he he's not in the military hierarchy. I think he's a former NATO liaison or something. I think he's a four-star general. But anyway, he commented, not so much off the cuff, but he sort of said that generally the Ukrainians are winning. So that's interesting. Other than the usual technological issues, they now have a drone that will deliver 6 mini drones. It carries the drones into the area, so that's happening. The Poles
Swarms.
seem to have their own whole drone technology that's there. That's interesting. And the Europeans, of course, are nervous about Ukraine and the U.S. being Trumpian and all of that sort of stuff. So that's happening. So yes, it's just wacky. Apparently, though, the Europeans are stepping up, and that's all good from that. On the other hand, you've got Americans like, I guess, the subhead of ICE, who refers to the deportation process should be like Amazon Prime, but with human beings. And then I did a thing
Yes, I
this
read
week
about
on
that.
beautiful, clean coal. Trump is trying, America still has supplies of 25% of American energy is supplied by coal. And the United States is one of the, not the major producer. China is the major producer of coal, but, we still produce a fair amount of it. And there's no such thing as beautiful, clean coal. Well, beautiful is just ridiculous. Clean really refers to the production technology where you're putting in scrubbers, etc., to reduce the amount of acid rain, which is one of the byproducts, original byproducts of why there was an issue for the EPA to declare to talk about clean coal. So then that was ages ago, and so anyway, that's kind of the week. Oh, nice to see blossoms.
Yes. There was something I wanted to point out earlier, which we've now come to, which I've not seen in the West anywhere out on my hiking expeditions, specifically in well-trodden parks and forests. This is a natural fiber carpet that they lay on the paths.
Huh. Interesting.
So yeah.
It's like a mulch
At first, I was
carpet.
like, yeah, like twine. I'm not exactly sure what it's made of. Looks
Oh, it's
like,
woven. It's
yeah,
woven? It's like, all
yep,
right. All right. That's interesting.
three.
That's very
Yeah,
interesting.
so it's weave together. So when you're climbing up it, you're not slipping.
Yes.
It blends in somewhat with the nature.
And
John
biodegradable.
might have an issue about when the upkeep needs to happen for situations like this, where you could be there's a fair number of trip hazards after it's been well worn. Outside of that, it's fastened down with rebar, so it's
Oh,
pretty
interesting.
stable. Hello,
Okay.
someone. Yeah, it's quite cool. I thought that was very eco-friendly, not too offensive to the purists, and a super practical solution to dealing with high traffic in nature and erosion.
Very cool. The week began with discussions about tariffs, of course. And of course, Trump tried to distract us in a discussion with visiting with Netanyahu. And of course, that whole situation has not changed. Trump claimed that Nazis did nice things for their captives in the concentration camp.
I was wondering, did Netanyahu have any comments about that, or you just kind of
Apparently
let it
not,
fly?
as far as I remember. There are just other stupid things that happened this week, especially on the tariff front, of course. Most of us have heard about the tariff issues, aside from my ridiculing. I mean, there's actually some very clever little animations and stuff that's been done for the Penguins. I think Penguins got got props this week. The other thing that came up was apparently there will be some sort of parade for Trump. It's meant to coincide with the 250th anniversary of the United States Army. So it's coincidental with Trump's birthday. So he made a comment about how it is not only a celebration of the Army, but also a celebration of him. And $100 million is, I guess, what you normally spend for your 79th birthday.
So I assume they'll be having to do some repaving of DC streets after the tanks have gone down.
Well, that's exactly the issue, is that there's some controversy on whether it will or a tank will or will not damage Washington, D.C. streets.
I don't believe they were quite designed for that purpose.
No, and at 60 tons, it's a pretty heavy device rolling around. And I mean, before, when he tried to do this before, they just had a static display of one tank, I think, and one Bradley fighting vehicle. But I think he wants a real parade, so we'll see.
Speaking
And
of
yes,
tanks,
oh my God.
four-legged tank warning is the wild boar warnings that are periodically throughout the forest, warning you what not to do. Another one shows you how to hide behind a rock or climb something high, and don't turn your back to them. And an emergency call 119.
Ah,
I think it's a little too high trafficked here. So, yeah.
oh yeah, they're probably off somewhere else, rooting around.
Mhm.
I assume there are people out there just trying to knock them off. They probably have not that bad not as bad as America has in wild boar infestations.
Right.
Because they're a significant feral pigs are a significant problem in the
Yeah,
U.S.
I haven't heard of the tourist gun nut craze that they got in Texas, where you can hop on a helicopter and mow them down with an M60.
Well, you never know if 30 or 40 feral pigs are going to come in and, attack your suburban house.
Yeah.
You never know. That was the criterion for defending our ownership of, assault rifles or something. But
They're
anyway,
coming for your,
Zachary ate my baby.
they're coming for your two food, you. I thought it. Poor fairy
dingoes
Joe.
ate my baby.
Well, the Second Amendment was always meant for the pigs, right?
Oh, in Hawaii, you can hunt them 24/7.
Oh,
They
yeah.
got so bad.
Oh, yeah.
And my neighbors, or not my neighbors, my friends who live in Volcano on Big Island near Hilo, they've got pig problem. I mean, the pigs come through and they have a garden and they have this and that, and they've tried knocking them off, and then his wife got tired of shooting them, and they're a lot. That's a bit of work.
It is a bit of work.
Deal with it. The cages they build that are like a spiral. You set them up with hog wire and posts, and if you look down on them from above, they're a spiral, like a seashell or a snail.
Yeah.
And you attract the pigs into the open end of it to get into the middle where all the goodies are, and they can't figure out how to get back out. So hunters come along later and just fucking mow them down in their little cage. It's not a very sporting activity.
Not very sporting at all.
No. But that's what it's come to for some people.
I mean, they are.
You would imagine there would be some kind of market for wild boar meat.
Well, yeah. In the U.S., though, there's, I think, some sort of processing rules about harvesting them.
Oh,
There is. I don't know what there's health issues, I think, and you have to have a certified butchers for them or some other stuff. It's actually they made it actually moderately complicated, which and it is because of the lack of predators, right? I mean.
and you're sounding
The
more and more
United-
like a Trumper every day. Are you calling for you favor this lack of regulations that are going to enable?
I don't know. I think the leopards are eating too many people's faces. That's all.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I didn't show you the other poster. There was warnings about not touching the rabies feed They have little
Nice.
cubes of rabies poison for the animal, or rabies medicine.
Ah, interesting.
The
That's
biggest
interesting.
the biggest wild
So
pig.
we're
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I
I
was
was just gonna say, so we're dodging potentially a rabid feral swine.
Hmm.
I was just going to say the biggest wild pig that I remember on record, that was, I don't know, 20 years ago, was down close to Santa Cruz in that area. And it was 1,052 pounds.
Whoa.
Oh,
And what happens is the Russian boar, which was brought over for sport, has kind of long legs and it has a straight tail. And it was brought over for people to hunt down south. And of course, it spread all over the place. And then they would interbreed with domestic hogs that were, bred to be big. So
Yeah.
that's why your feral pigs, some of them, some of those pigs are pretty intimidating.
I'm surprised that no one has pitched some sort of flicks on more flicks anyway on wild boars, monster boars. I mean, they had to go to Sharknado or whatever.
wild boar Don.
I've seen just an average size, like a 200-300 pound boar just flip a dog up in the air like it was just a bag of nothing.
Right.
Mm.
They are very strong, and if they can get those tusks into you, you're in trouble, and you can end up bleeding out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yep.
America.
Yes, when we landed in outside, we landed in the airport of Malaga and didn't. We don't plan ahead very well. We didn't have a hotel for the evening, and we landed late, and we just found the nearest forest we could. And middle of February, freezing balls, and I slung our hammocks, and as I was slinging them, suddenly heard the boars come, javelina, and had to raise the hammock up a little bit higher than I had originally planned.
All righty.
Welcome to the United States of America.
Big
You
stories.
could end up bleeding out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Big stories in the U.S. I think it's about time for us to discuss a night gallery. John, are you there? Can you tell us a little bit?
I am here, yes. Tonight is the third and final installment segment from the Night Gallery pilot made for television film, and it is called Escape Route, and it stars Richard Kiley as he is living in Argentina. He was formerly of Germany.
Ooh,
And
that sounds familiar, John.
yeah, he relocated there
And
after a job he had didn't work out.
All right.
There we
any
go.
specific party affiliations that you want to hint at?
Yes, I believe it was
Or
the
no spoiler.
National Socialist Workers' Party.
Ooh, a socialist.
So it's a good one, and please join us.
All righty. That's at the bottom of the hour at 8:30, so Eastern time. So hopefully both folks will stick with us. I think we have other things coming up. Just on my end, Weekly Marks will have a continuation of, I think we're up to chapter 3 it does have numbers of The Theory of Surplus Value by Karl Marx, and on Sunday at 3, chapters 20 and 21 of the 2024 edition of Karl Marx's volume 1 of Capital. So the Princeton edition. So those who are amused by that can hear me yammer on about that. Fortunately, or unfortunately, we'll be listening to a audio book of The Theory of Surplus Value on Saturday. So that's my little thing. John, do you want to talk a little bit about Star Trek: The
I
Next
believe
Generation? Oh,
Susanna had some technical difficulties, hurdles. I believe she overcame.
Yes,
So there should be
thank
a
you.
film Saturday night.
Saturday
Oh,
night,
excellent.
congratulations.
7 o'clock Eastern
by
Time.
popular demand. Good night and good luck. Little technical difficulties last week, but I paid the electric bill and we should be good. Good to go.
Looking forward to it.
And I shall be, I'm not sure what I'm doing tomorrow. I may have a middle of the morning stream somewhere in Seoul. Otherwise, catch me Monday morning on speed train to Busan.
Cool.
Do not urinate in the woods. Do
Lane,
not
what?
urinate. Oh, that type of stream. I thought you meant.
Lane, what music is coming
One of the
on
Northern
Sunday?
Lights.
I think it's going to be Shirley Bassey on Sunday.
Excellent, excellent.
and
world class. So there.
And just before that is Star Trek: The Next Generation. I'll be showing an episode called "We'll Always Have Paris,"
Indeed.
and it guest stars Michelle Phillips, formerly of the Mamas and the Papas.
Yeah.
Is this the same Michelle Phillips who wrote the book "You'll Never Eat Lunch in This Town Again"? That I keep.
Did
Maybe
she?
I'm
I don't know.
mistaking all of this. Anyway, sorry, that's my Hollywood thing. I was going to ask John, just to amuse ourselves. I think there was another stinker in the first season that we haven't seen so far.
Oh, which one is that?
One that is essentially about intersectionality. Seems has to do
Oh,
with gladiatorial combat, I think. Isn't that the one?
Gladiatorial Combat. Um, well, I did skip one that was
This is where a planet of what appear to be African American or African warriors run a particular kind of planet, and they suddenly decide they're
oh yeah,
or
we
am I
saw that
confused?
one. We
Oh,
saw
we
that
did see
one.
that one. All right.
Yeah, that is definitely a stinker. Uh, many people consider that the worst episode of Star Trek ever created.
Yes, I just couldn't remember whether we'd seen it or not. I recall seeing it, and I recall how weird it was. But anyway.
Yes, that was called Code of Honor.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, sorry, we digress. I think we're getting ready to end our little event here. It's just been a great view and a trek, and I hope you're okay there, Joe. And it's nice to see, kind of the vista of Seoul. It's been a busy week. There'll be another busy week. The planet hasn't totally destroyed itself yet, and I think we have a little bit to be grateful that hasn't happened yet. I think it's outro time, James. If you're set up at all to run the outro, we do promise that we'll do better next week.
All right. Thanks and have a good night.
Take care, all.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Joe. Safe travels.
Don't piss in the
Nighty night.
woods.
Thanks, everyone.